All right, 2026. Daniel, you just had another kid not talk to you in a few weeks. I miss you, bud.
What's
And we
better than
decided
jumping on a podcast as the
this
reintroduction
is
to the world?
yeah, we're but I think we decided that the world needed not just another ads podcast, but really an ads, media, and AI podcast. And so ADSN is back. Really, we just want to basically share with people the conversations that we've been having. It's kind of like how can we how can we basically share our group chat without getting in trouble for all the other stuff that's in the group chat? And so hopefully that's what this new version of ADSN will be. I'm super pumped to be doing it again. And yeah, Daniel, what do you
I,
got, bud?
I feel like this is almost more for me than anyone else. It's like I've been outside, outside looking in for the last 2 months with the baby, and so I've been calling you like, what's happening? What are the conversations? What are you hearing? And
Well,
so
that's a little disingenuous. If those of you are not friends with Daniel on Instagram, he has started to become a content creator for. Will you tell everyone what you're doing? Explain that whole world to us.
yeah. I needed something to do while I was on pat leave while my kids were napping, and so in my mind, all of us in ads are touting, the importance of content creation and making authentic videos and this creator economy. And I realized, like, how can I actually be saying that like genuinely without actually understanding it? And so I started an Instagram at Daniel Druger or a TikTok at D Druger. So follow me, like, comment, follow, and I've just been creating content about ads, about fatherhood.
Tell
Uh,
everyone what
this,
it's called.
the series is called Nap Chat. I talk about all things ad tech and media while my kids nap. And in 60 seconds or less, we cover the topics that I've been thinking about.
All right. Well, if people don't like this new version of ADSN, we may just turn it into Snapchat. Uh, but it
Trademark
is
pending.
it is great. I've gotten a lot of texts from people about it. I really think you're kind of onto something there. And you have that little microphone that
Oh
like the
yeah.
Gen Z kids have.
Oh yeah.
Uh, yeah, you're like Nick Shirley.
So whoever
Uh,
whoever I see at the next conference, I'm gonna bring that
yeah,
microphone and we're gonna do a little potato pass for interview.
yes. We'll go. Well, what do we got? What do we got here on this video group chat?
We
What do you got?
we got a bunch. I think one that is just so like timely that I think let's just dig into. I think everyone's talked about it, but let's dig into it. Is the Agentic Commerce, the announcement with Google and Shopify and kind of the 28 other companies that are part of this ecosystem now. It's the first, I think, real entry point into this like agentic commerce as it's been talked about in the last couple of years, and like the first real one that is bringing together, true AI models, true data, and a true commerce platform in Shopify. Like it's pretty interesting.
Yeah, it's very cool. It's very real. It's funny though, like at the end of the day, it's still like a feed with like that's connected to product SKUs. And
Yeah,
so as like innovative as it is, which it definitely is, like and it's awesome that like it's all standardized. It's just like the feed is just shifting. Like we just moved from a feed. I actually think you did a Snapchat about this. But like the feed went from a feed of our friends and then it became like an algorithmic feed. And then now the new feed is going to be, you know, sort of the, I guess, like the last stage of these algorithmic feeds, which is really just an AI feed. And yeah, it's cool, but it's just so funny how like it's just going to be the new screen that you spend more of your time on.
yeah. I think kind of what I was talking about, it's related, but it was kind of this concept of like the life graph that we did, like a friend graph, an interest graph. And like this is what you're saying is like it's
Did
bringing
you
all
coin LifeGraph? Was that your idea?
that was my idea. I didn't love the branding. So if anyone's got a better name,
Hmm.
let's do it. But
I was a
um
little lost when I only saw like a little preview of what you were talking about, but I was like, what is the LifeGraph?
but I think this is it. It's bringing the data from kind of where we shop, how we shop, what we buy, what our transactions are across our life with what we're searching for, what we're asking Gemini or OpenAI for. I think, OpenAI Health, everyone's talking about it, but like that's additional data that nobody has access to. And so all this is it's pulling together data from all of our life, and it's going to give us a feed of exactly what we want in that moment in
Yeah.
that life stage.
I tweeted about this. I posted about it, I guess, on X. I got some good feedback on it, but it was obviously this is like me talking my book because we still have some snap shares. But all this stuff makes me think if you're gonna be uh, a like a true consumer kind of foundational model company, then like you need a social network to append it to so you can get all these users there. So like it is if you look at like Gemini and YouTube, like and you were texting me about this the other day. It was like, of course YouTube videos are start gonna come in there when you talk to Gemini. Like it's just gonna become the
Yeah.
new feed for all that stuff. And then obviously X and XAI. And so like I think OpenAI should buy Snapchat. Actually, there's like a really good reason for that. I think I'd rather have OpenAI shares potentially than Snap shares. But then B, uh, they could, like that younger user base could lock in chat as its, you know, core assistant. And then it obviously, like Snap has a huge amount of data they can get on the camera side. They're working on the AR stuff. Like that one actually makes sense. I have no idea. And many people replied to my tweet saying Evan wouldn't do it. But I like, you know, I don't get how you become one of these mainstream models without having a social network appended to it. Maybe the one example there would be Anthropic and Claude, which we have Mike Khristo coming on in a little bit, and he'll tell us all about why Claude's so amazing. But it just makes me think at the end of the day, these AI assistants are just going to become the new social network.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other announcement right this past week was the Gemini-Apple deal. I mean, I think that kind of paints the picture. It's like Apple's been touting they're going to build this model, and now you look at it and they're like, actually, we'll just use Gemini's because why do we need to build a foundational model? There's a dozen of them that are really good. They're all converging to be, essentially the same, and we have a captive audience of millions of users with iPhones and computers and in our ecosystem. Like we
It's
have
just,
we have the mechanism. We just don't have the
yeah,
model.
I feel like that one, I get it, but it's like you're Apple. You're one of the biggest companies in the world. And eventually there is going to be this fight between like owning the hardware, like OpenAI is talking about building that pin, like
Yeah.
having the hardware and having that tied to the assistant and then having it tied to your life graph, Daniel Druger, TM. Feels like it's sort of bizarre to me that Apple would like seed this. I know that I guess they have to at this point, and like obviously you don't want to do all the capex tied to it, but you know, it does make me wonder like I seriously consider now switching to an OpenAI phone or a even a Google device for Gemini. And I guarantee you if there were a Claude device that came out, every engineer would be using that thing in a heartbeat, you know?
That's actually not a bad idea. Get a Claude computer. Let people code directly on it.
Yeah.
Um,
I'm, yes, we should do that. Have you been listening to any of my rants about vibe
yeah,
coding?
yeah.
And have you
Will you tell people what you're coding? I think two things, both of which I use as a personal user. But what are the two things you're coding?
I've vibe coded uh, a financial management app for people whose houses burned down in a wildfire. That was a very bespoke, pretty unique uh, customer set. But I did build that, and it's kind of cool. And then what was the other one? Oh, my golf app.
Your
I
golf rangefinder.
golf rangefinder. That thing. I wish those. If any golfers are listening to this, which now we've gone totally off of the script of what we were supposed to talk about on this podcast, but whatever. I think it's really annoying when you're golfing and you lose your rangefinder. And everyone, this happens like if you're a golfer. And so, like, why can't my phone just be my rangefinder? So I vibe coded an app called Chip. It's great. And it's like kind of this guy who's like a 60-year-old, 70-year-old caddy, his little character. And then you can just use the camera, point and click, like at the flag, and it tell you the distance. The app looked great. It gave you like advice and everything. The problem is these cameras are not set up actually to do that. So then Lovable, which is another one of these vibe coding apps, which is like incredible if you haven't used it, actually suggested that I would to do this properly, I'd have to 3D print basically a case for my phone that could interact with the software. And that's how I could make the camera itself work for a rangefinder. So there's not like a vibe coding 3D printing thing that I'm aware of yet. There probably is, but that is the next thing on this.
Let's
So yeah,
see. So anyone listening needs to connect OpenAI or Anthropic to a 3D printer and
I'm
make.
sure someone's done it.
I'm sure somebody has, but let's come on and talk to us.
Yes. Yeah, I did that. I played around. I actually have vibe coded some stuff using our APIs, like Universal Ads APIs. It's kind of cool. I have, yeah, I've been thinking actually about like I don't know if you saw Brian O'Kelly talked
Mhm.
about like how like what's basically now he's obviously the one behind AdCP, and he basically said that like this new AI world is now not about optimization, it's about allocation, which I thought was like kind of hysterical because it's like what we've always said as like
Mhm.
people who built on top of the walled garden APIs because you could not optimize the optimizers. So instead, all you were doing was basically figuring out allocation.
Yeah.
I thought that was really interesting. So like eventually, it's just like so clear the walled gardens win, and even now the guy who invented OpenRTB is saying what AI is going to do for ad tech is just workflow,
Yeah.
which is kind of hysterical. So yeah, those are my vibe coding quests
It,
so far.
I actually have a really not funny for the industry, funny looking at it from a vibe coding standpoint. So Amazon apparently is getting in trouble. I'm sure this is like some engineer vibe coded this. They built an AI agent that basically scrapes the web, all commerce platforms that are not at Amazon. So you could think like WooCommerce, Magento, Shopify ecosystem, scraping all the products and pricing and details, and you can buy it on Amazon. And Amazon will have an agent that will essentially go to those websites, buy it for you like it's part of the Amazon experience, and it'll get shipped to you. But you've never left Amazon. Amazon has facilitated this entire buying process. And
Wait, was this like approved by Amazon or was it not?
uh, it's kind of unclear. But it feels like it's approved by Amazon. Like there's a buy for me button. And
Oh, I've heard that thing.
yeah,
Yes. Um, that is awesome and
yeah.
hysterical that they just jumped in front of everyone. It's
Uh-huh.
kind of the inverse of what Shopify. I mean, it's so funny. Amazon and Shopify are like just the polar opposite, right? Like
Mhm.
Shopify is going to basically become plumbing, and Amazon becomes the front door.
Yeah.
It's
It's
it's clever.
It's very clever. I mean, I'm sure it's going to get shut down real quick somehow, but I thought that was a fascinating one. And I'm sure it's like some group of engineers that were like, let's go talk to Claude, or actually, let's go talk to our Amazon models and go build this.
It's interesting because it's kind of like the Google. I was just looking at the name for it, but Google announced their direct offers
Mm,
product, which is like
yeah.
their ad product, but it's basically an affiliate product. And actually, the Perplexity guys talked about this like I think 2 years ago, and I think I've like said this before on the podcast where like the next phase of ad tech is going to look way more like Commission Junction than it will AppLovin. And like basically what you're just describing with Buy, with Prime, or direct offers is just affiliate marketplaces, right?
Mhm.
And so, you know, one thing I was going to text some of our friends over at Shopify about this because like they kind of nailed it with shop campaigns. I feel like they were like the first ones to sort of like see kind of like what really matters is the transaction and like abstracting away the CPM and all those things. And
Yeah.
so it may be where this all goes, but it I think I don't know, it's all so early. Like if you look at like I'm curious how much of this stuff is really, really being used.
Yeah, it's a lot of nice headlines. And then there's also this like, I don't know if you've been following it, but there's like an not just anti AI, but kind of anti phone, like get back into real life kind of movement. And it's been happening for a handful of years, but this year, cameras are making a big push back. Like physical film cameras are like making a big push, and there's companies investing heavily in like how do you make a really high quality physical camera again. And
I
then,
got a really good Christmas gift or holiday gift from Zephyr,
hmm,
and it was a camera. I gave it to my 6 year old, but it was just a digital camera. But it's so nice because she can take like 5,000 pictures on it. She can't see it,
yeah,
and then we like go and plug it in and look at it, and
yeah,
it's like really like I get it, and I like it's along the same lines too. I saw something that at CES, the like winner of CES was Lego,
Oh
Like they
yeah.
built some like sick like Lego installation, and it's like people were like, "Oh God, I like don't have to like be on my phone. I can play with Legos."
Yeah. There's a Lego one. And then there was one, I mean, anyone who's over 35 is going to find this hysterical, but there's a move back to physical phones. I
What do you
mean,
mean? Like
you can buy,
landlines?
there's a woman on Instagram who started actually talking about AI. Her handle's like Cat GPT. She's like fascinating woman. But she started a physical phone company. I mean, it
Okay.
is like you can, with the dials and you press buttons,
Is it plugged in?
it connects through Bluetooth to your iPhone, and you put your
Okay.
iPhone in a drawer, and you can pick this thing up and be like, "Hey, call mom. Hey, what's the weather?" Like you can dial, but it is a physical phone that you're interacting with. You're not looking at a screen, and it's like you have this thing on your dresser, and you pick it up,
Huh.
and you're like, "Hey, talk to mom." So
You really learn a lot on pat leave.
yeah, got to get back to it. Um, yeah, so that's what I've been doing. And then I guess to stay in our world, since I guess I'm in TV, Universal Ads. There's been a lot of announcements around just TV and the convergence of social and TV. I think three in particular stand out. One is, as everyone, almost everyone knows at this point, is like YouTube has overtaken everyone as the most time spent on TVs. Which, if anyone has kids, like that's not a shocker. But
YouTube Kids is really weird though. Do
I'm not
you?
there yet. We still
Oh
do
yeah.
like songs.
I'll find Lucy just like watching a family like wakeboarding in like Utah. Like it was like what are you? We like I make her not watch it, but it's like this is stupid. You're learning nothing, and it is weird. That's like I wouldn't want to PM that thing. I don't think.
Okay.
But anyway, yeah.
Okay. So
Mhm.
that's one.
You know another weird thing about YouTube Kids that for some reason there's a lot of Ellen content, like the
Hmm.
show Ellen. Like so, my 6-year-old was like, "Do you know who did the voice of the fish that doesn't remember things in Finding Nemo?" And I was like, "Yeah, it's an Ellen DeGeneres." She's like, "I watch her on YouTube Kids." I'm like, what are we? And then it was really weird. So anyway, go on.
YouTube's Lila's algorithm is getting real interesting right now.
Yeah, Lucy's.
YouTube's
Yeah,
learning a lot.
Lila's easy. Yeah, Lila's
Oh,
just
Lucy's
baby
then.
honest.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm
Um,
sorry. Go on.
no,
What do you
so
got?
YouTube, Instagram. I
Yep.
think most of us saw the announcement that they're like bringing an app to TV, so you can watch
Yeah,
reels and things on TV.
I think that is going to be awesome. I
Yeah.
think that's like if you think of like why did Instagram let YouTube just take YouTube TV
Hmm.
and YouTube in general? Like they've always and like with Reels now, I'd be curious. I bet you they do some longer form deals because you can even see. We have friends over at like Tubi, for example. Like Tubi's really kind of leaned into like how do creators create content made for like TV.
Yeah.
Like Instagram could crush that.
Yeah.
Like, and you have Mr. Beast doing stuff on Amazon. Like, I feel like this Instagram thing is gonna work. They're just gonna have to give it time, but it's gonna work.
Yeah, I bet that'll be a fun one to watch develop. And then kind of the inverse of that, which I'm a lot less bullish on, is Disney made a really big announcement at CES of kind of moving into vertical videos. They're calling them verts, which to
That's
me,
cool.
I
But
immediately thought of Quibi.
mhm.
But they're kind of doing vertical videos. They want to bring it into Disney Plus and their streaming platforms and become like a daily habit. That seems like a really heavy lift. I mean, I think it's really ambitious, but that seems like a really heavy lift to like become the daily habit when
How
you're now.
long are they? Are they like short vertical videos or just
That's the other challenge. They're saying they want to do original programming. They want to do clips, so like highlights and clips of their content, which they have an
yeah?
incredible library, so that's cool. And then they want to do like net new video. And so to me, that reads as like they don't really know. Like everything's
Yeah.
on the table, and so they're going to test it all and see what actually works. But it seems hard because they've already distributed all this to YouTube, to Instagram, to TikTok, where their content clips already live and people watch them.
Yeah, I think I saw something too where Netflix is gonna start letting you do clips via the app and push it out.
Oh yeah, I've never tried it, but I see it.
Yeah.
Like if you're watching, they've got the little scissor and you
Yeah.
can build clips.
Yeah, that one feels like a better play.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just indicative. Like it's all converging. Like
Yeah,
what was once social, what was once TV. It's just all like media now.
the screens. Just what did I say that I got a bunch of crap about? That
Phones are the
TV
new.
or I mean TV ads are just horizontal Instagram ads, whatever. Yeah, that's fun. Good.
Fun fact for you.
Okay.
So TVs, I think, are one of the only things over the last like 30 years that have actually become cheaper over time, accounting for inflation and everything.
I just
It is,
bought 2 new TVs.
and 20 years ago, you wouldn't have, because it would have cost you a
Yeah.
fortune.
Yeah. There are a lot of TVs. I got 2 TCLs. They're like these
Huh?
Chinese companies. I tried. TVs are complicated. You have to get. Do you know the difference between a QLED and the
I
OLEDs?
do not. I would go ask Claude or Gemini or
Yeah,
one.
I did that. QLEDs are if you have a bright room.
Hmm.
Hmm. Can't have the glare.
Oh,
Yeah.
see, I had that problem. I was watching a show on Pat Leave during the day, and I couldn't.
Wait, why are you
So
watching shows, bud? Get back to work. It's
Feeding my daughter.
ridiculous.
This is
Yeah,
Snapchat.
fine, you can do that then.
You can't see anything. It's so dark. And I asked AI, why is it so dark? And it said everything's been optimized for dark rooms. The TVs,
Interesting.
the filming, the like everything. The technology is made for dark rooms. So if anyone else has a problem,
Crazy. Well, I think with that, we can take our first break and then we can have our buddy Mike Khristo explain to us what the hell's going on with Claude.
let's do
Want
it.
to do that? All right. All right. We have a very good friend, Mike Khristo, joining us today. Mike is the CEO and co founder of Layers. If you follow me on X or LinkedIn, you probably see me talk about Layers. I think it's like one of the coolest things I've seen. Mike, you're not allowed to sit here and basically shill Layers. I'll do it for you for 1 second, and then I want to talk about Claude. But basically, Layers is marketing for developers in your IDE. You can basically just have AI take your app and start marketing for you. It's kind of magic. It's wild. So check out layers.com. I don't know how you got that URL. Maybe come back on the podcast and tell us how you do that. But wanted to really kind of talk about, this week, if you were on X, everything's been about Claude. At first, it was all about Claude Code. Now it's about Claude Cowork. Like, what is going on? And what is happening in AI land?
Yeah, thanks for having me. This is going to be really fun. I'm going to say the word Claude a lot. Magic happened over the last few weeks. As larger tech companies kind of took a break over the holidays, a lot of developers ended up starting to use some of these tools that have been out for a little while now. And the main one, like you mentioned, was Claude Code. That one really kind of sparked this wave of new builders and people who are builders building new stuff. It's amazing because it is like now truly agentic code. It can write code. You can basically speak to it in natural language and you get magic out of it. It's very much now coding in English or whatever your native tongue is. You don't have to
Is it
look
like, how good of a developer? Like, I've worked with you for 20 years. Like, you're one of the best developers I know. It's like the last nice thing I'll say about you. No, but like, is it better than you? Is it like what? How good is this thing?
a couple months ago, you had to sit there and babysit the output. You don't have to do that anymore. The loop is so good now that it will write code. It will go review the code. It will find bugs in the code that it wrote. It will optimize the code. It'll fix the bugs. And it goes again. And it will go through that loop over and over again until it's resolved the problem. It's reached this point now where while we're talking, I have like 5 Claude codes that are just like running over on that other screen. And they're just like building stuff. They're building features. They're building feature requests from users. They're coding new things. They're building things that aren't even part of like our core product, but like something that I just needed. I needed a way to visualize our runway. Cool. I can do that in Excel. Google Sheets, or literally just have a tool whipped up that has a UI interface, beautiful design, and the cost of building is so low that you can like build whatever like little bespoke thing that you think you might need, even if it's only going to be temporary, you can build it now. And we've gone through this a lot in our past, right? Which is like, okay, if we build this thing, how long is it going to take to build? How much is it going to cost? How much longevity are we going to get out of that? The longevity conversation doesn't really hold weight anymore because you can build it so fast.
I mean, you've been so, I think, vocal on X and LinkedIn about, I think personifying it. Like all of us who are not technical used to have to text somebody like you or a friend who's an engineer and be like, hey, I got this brilliant idea. Let's sit down. And you're like, well, I've gotten 15 other texts about this. And so now we have Claude Code that can be that friend and we can text it. But like, maybe can you help us understand like what are some of the things that the layman can actually use it for? Like, I think there's a lot of talk of like people trying to build businesses off it, monetize it. But I think you hit on something. It's like, I have some small, very bespoke task that is specific to me that I want to build for. Like, let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. The magic of it is that it's not just for building software. It's not just like, I want to go build this mobile app or I want to go build this SaaS tool or a website or a business. It's, hey, we have, I don't know, PostHog or Google Analytics or something running on a website. I need to analyze that data. I can do two things. I can either go look through the dashboards, build dashboards, figure out what I'm trying to answer, find the anomalies, all that kind of stuff. Or you can go to Claude Code and say, here's access to whatever analytics tool I have through an MCP server that everybody has now. Help me figure out why I'm not getting purchases. Help me figure out why is this thing not getting subscriptions? How do I get more subscribers? It will actually go through and recommend A/B tests. It'll go recommend, here's what you should do in terms of the different cohorts that are coming in and what they're doing in your product. And where it finds gaps, it will call them out and say, hey, you don't have this part, there's no dashboard for this. Is it cool if I make one? Yes, by all means, go try. And it's like, here's the link to the dashboard. Like, oh, that was fun. Like, that was really good. That used to require like data science and like all these other people. Not that they're like fully replaced, but you can get answers now. So when you say layman, it's somebody who's like on the periphery of code, right? Sitting near people who are building stuff all the time. You no longer are constrained by, can I find the resource to go and do this for me? Claude is that resource.
Yeah, it's interesting. There are two questions in a statement. One is, what do we know? Like, what happened at Anthropic that like led to the like what? There's clearly this magic moment thing that like, and I obviously like since I've seen it on X and I'm texting you about it, like it is startling. Like I was looking like last night I couldn't sleep and I was just like, any idea that I ever had that was like digital, I can just go build right now. Like it's actually kind of depressing because then you start to build it and like, damn it, that idea wasn't that good now that I can see it. But like that barrier is sort of gone. But like what happened at Anthropic? Do we know?
Yeah. So there's everybody should be following this guy. His name is Boris. He's an engineer at Anthropic. He built Claude Code as a side thing. He was just like hacking away on it on the side. And then as the story goes on his X feed, he shared it with another developer, and that other developer's like, oh, cool, I'm going to give it some tool to go and edit files. And then, oh, cool, I'm going to go add a tool that gives it access to do so-and-so. And it was just this little homegrown internal thing. And you touched on this at the top of it. They just released a thing called Cloud Cowork. They didn't write the code for Claude Cowork. Claude Code wrote the code for Claude Cowork.
And can you explain to people what Cowork is? I played around with it. It's ridiculous, but you got to explain it.
Yeah. I mean, again, like this is like we're in like my wheelhouse now. This is like the super nerd deep dive on the stuff. It's super fun. There's a desktop app that you can download called Claude. And one of the tabs in there is Claude Cowork. If you give it permission, it can use your computer as you would. And it can do it really, really well. And so you can literally tell it, organize my desktop. Hey, I'm running out of space on my computer. Figure out what I need to delete. I need to create a spreadsheet that's going to do X, Y, and Z. Oh, I don't have that tool. Can you install that for me? And now you have basically another engineer sitting on your desktop that's just like doing whatever you want it to do.
You're talking a lot about Claude. How did they get so far ahead, and how has nobody caught up here? Or have they, and it's just a better marketing at this point that like Microsoft's got a lot of data on developers, Google's got a lot of data. Like, how is Anthropic so far ahead and so much better than everyone here?
The magic that they released was Opus 4.5. And so every few weeks, every couple of months, you see this release from one of the foundational labs that's new model, right? There's GPT-5, there was GPT-3, GPT-4, 5, 5.2. You have Anthropic, they released Opus 3, 3.5, 4, now we're at 4.5. Gemini, they're on Gemini 3 something, like Gemini 3 Pro. Every few weeks, every couple months, these labs basically leapfrog each other. The stuff that Anthropic released with Opus 4.5 was a huge step change. That was like when OpenAI released GPT-4, and everyone's like, "What just happened?" Like the world just changed. Same thing happened with Anthropic. That model is so good. But more importantly than just the model, and the model is obviously critical, but it's the harness around it. And the harness is basically a set of prompts and system prompts and guidance that Claude Code, for example, or Cursor, or these other tools that use these models, that they wrap around the model. That's what gives it its power. And so you have this super intelligent, I know everything brain behind the scenes, which is Opus 4.5. It's fast. It responds super quick. If you compare it to some of the other latest big models that do really well, it's much faster than the others. So you have speed going for you. So you're not sitting there twiddling your thumbs wondering what the hell's going on. The harness around Claude Code, the system prompts, the way that it knows how to use tools, the tools that it has access to, all of those things combined made this phenomenal engineer in a terminal. Where it became really interesting is a bunch of people who were very notable in the AI space over the kind of December break, if you will, started using it. And they started seeing, I probably shouldn't be so against AI written code. Is it more verbose? Is it a little longer? Is it as beautifully architected as a code artist would do? Probably not. But does it matter? Because if it understands the output and it understands how to use the code and optimize the code and do the stuff with the code and keep it updated, does it actually matter if the output was 80 lines or 60 lines? Do you care? Like I've been doing this stuff since the 90s. I don't care. If the output is good and it's maintainable and it's performant and it's secure, it just doesn't matter if it's 80 lines or 60 lines to me. So all of these things converged. Now we have magic.
And now the magic's here. And like, again, now it's sort of pretty obvious. Well, it's like, you look at it, okay, so now like I have access to an engineer or engineers on call. I have access to designers. I have access to data scientists. I have access to like a CFO. Co-work kind of gives me a COO. Obviously, like, even like the early iterations of OpenAI, it was kind of like you had your CMO. It was like really good at like ideation around that. Where does this like go next? Like, and where, I guess, like maybe a little bit back to like kind of the marketing angle and the ads angle of this stuff, but like, so there's going to be this explosion of all these apps that like seems pretty obvious, but then it really is going to be agent to agent stuff, right? Like, where do like consumers fit in it? Like, what are the behaviors going to change? Can you tell yet, or is it too early?
It's early. I think on the consumer side, that's probably more protected than most other places because as much as we see on our X feeds, there's not that many of us. Like when I step out in the real world, nobody knows what's happening here. Like nobody actually, if you think about like, if you gathered 100 people outside of X and asked them what's going on, nobody knows. Like nobody is using these tools. Nobody knows the impact it's going to have. Everyone's kind of oblivious to it until they're blindsided by it. And we're getting really close to that part. I think the consumer side is more protected to some extent. I think that the reality is people are glued to their phones. They're glued to the internet. They're glued to TV. They're going to stay that way. They're going to be consumers. There's going to be more consumers than creators, probably forever. I think we will see more creators get born, not just content creators, but like creators of things. The little tangent, but relevant to it is if you haven't done it yet, is to switch Claude code into planning mode. So you do Shift Tab to get to planning mode. And you can have it interview you, have it ask you questions. If you have like an inkling of an idea, whether it's building something, whether it's trying to understand something, technical or not technical, it's ask me questions until you have enough information to put a plan together. It will start giving you these multiple choice questions. It'll start asking you things. It's ridiculous. It's the equivalent of, from a tech side, if you're building product or whatever, it's the equivalent of being in one of those conference rooms. Like we used to sit with whiteboards and like hashing out all the different ways that it could go. And then you're sitting there for 8 hours, 10 hours and breaking for lunch and getting food in. And you have 19 people all chiming in on stuff with their expertise and where it should go. You do that now in like a 20-minute session. And then when the plan is done, it's like, okay, here's what I think the plan should be for whatever the thing is. Can I go do it? Uh-huh. Please go do it.
I mean, you hit on something interesting there, though, that like we're on the periphery, or not even on the periphery, sorry, we're on the inside, and a lot of people are on the periphery or even further out. And, you know, that's certainly in AI, it's certainly in tech, right? Like we're in LA, people in New York, like there's a coastal kind of thing around that. And so like are the 350 million people in the country, are they actually going to adopt this? Or is
Did you just call us coastal elites? Is that what you just referring to?
I didn't use the word elite. I said we're on the coast and we're, you know, we're in a certain, we're interested in this stuff, I'll say. But like the majority of this country and this world, like, do you actually see them adopting this? Or is this something that, you know, it's going to be that 80-20 rule? 20% of people are going to adopt and build, and 80% are going to go, hey, what's the tool to go help me build a better dashboard? Oh, those 4 guys built it. Let me see which one I like. Let me go use it. Like, what's actually going to happen?
I think it stays a mix. I think in general, you're going to end up with more people that adopt it, more people that find themselves. I'm like preaching from the mountaintops that like anybody non-technical should be trying to use these tools. Like the technical people, if you're an engineer and you're not using the stuff and you're a holdout, I've given up trying to convince you. I have now shifted gears into people who are not developers because the barrier to doing this has gone away. A couple months ago, the big pushback on Claude code, and I'll get to the like an actual answer for you in a second, but the pushback on Claude code, even from developers, was, I want to see the code that it's outputting. I want to see the output. And Claude code is in a terminal. It's text. And it's just like doing stuff behind the scenes, and I don't have control. until it's done. What's changed is that the quality output is so good now, and that these loops are so good that instead of thinking of it like, I don't have control anymore, it's think about it like texting with a buddy. Like you're texting with a very technical friend who knows a bunch of stuff about a bunch of things. And if you frame it like, I'm literally just texting with a person, that's how Claude Code works. You're in a terminal. It's non-intuitive for most people. Most people love the mouse clicking around. Here's an icon. Here's the screen that opens up. Claude Code's in a terminal. So it's like literally just white text on a black screen, black text on a white screen. But if you frame it as, I'm just texting with somebody who's going to go get the answer for this or build the thing, it takes a lot of that pressure off on like how technical you perceive you need to be to use it. To answer your question, I think more people are going to get into seeing the power of AI as more of the big players get into these like consumer facing releases. Today, Google announced like Google Intelligence or whatever they're calling it.
The personal one.
The personal intelligence. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of amazing. Like it's kind of interesting. The use cases on their like demo video, I don't know if I like subscribe to that. There was a guy who was in a tire shop and like had to ask what kind of tires he needs. The interesting part of that was it referenced his road trip photos and understood what kinds of roads he drives on, what kinds of conditions, and based on that, gave him the recommendation of what kind of tires to get. Like, kind of interesting. Is it the like magic use case that everyone's going to adopt now? Probably not, but we're getting there, and everyone's kind of trying to figure out what it is that people want. Snap was early. Snap did that My AI thing. I don't think it, like, if you think back to like how good AI was when they launched that, it was probably premature. It can only be getting better. The more consumers that get comfortable touching these tools, the better off they're going to be, and the better off we're going to be as a society. I don't know what that split ends up looking like, Druger, but it's going to be more creators and builders than ever before. And it's going to be consumers that have an insane amount of choice on where to spend their time and attention.
I'll push back a little because I've been thinking about this. I think the choice is an interesting angle here because I think we've found that more choice isn't always better. And like,
terrible. Yeah.
Right. And so like there is this idea that when you go into OpenAI, like people are like, I can't believe you're using it wrong and you're just asking it a question, like have a conversation for it with it. But sometimes people just want the answer. It's like, hey, how long is it going to take me to get to LA and New York if I drive, and what's the best route? Just give me the answer. Don't take me on the journey. Don't ask me 50 questions. Like, I don't know, make some assumptions. And like, I don't need to save the extra 20 minutes. Just give me the answer. So anyway, I think it is interesting. I'm glad to hear you say it's going to be positive for society. I think the choice piece is going to be interesting, and seeing how these different providers play into that will be interesting. But Mike, I know we got to let you go. You got to go build layers, frankly. Maybe we'll
used to watch Claude build layers.
Yeah, maybe we'll interview your personal agent next time instead of you, and give you back time.
Yeah.
Where can people see you shitpost on X?
At Mike Khristo, if you want to see the shit posting. If you want to see businessy style yapping, it's going to be on LinkedIn. Mike Khristo on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Amazing.
Check out Layers. If you're building something in AI, go check out Layers. Is that it?
Go to layers.com.
Awesome.
Thanks for having me.
I can't believe you got layers.com. Thank you for doing this, bud.
All right, Mike. We'll be back soon.